When we think about how like society can dictate what the beauty standards are, we also have to consider like how porn plays into that and what mainstream media's representation of what porn might look like. Like it's all together, right? Like it's all connected.
I'm Amy,
I'm April.
certified sex educators, sexperts of the year, and best-selling authors.
And we're on a mission to help you have more spicy, connected, and amazing shameless sex. Welcome to the Shameless Sex Revolution.
We're so close, it's like we have our own language. We're making sex and relationships shameless.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.
You were listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to the Shameless Sex Podcast. When this is coming out, it's October.
Isn't it like Fucktober?
Fucktober. I've heard Kinktober is a thing. It actually is a
Cocktober?
thing. Cocktober.
Or, I don't know, get your fuck on in October. It's a good month.
Yeah, I mean, it's fall. It's getting darker. It's a little colder. It's a good time to snuggle up and masturbate and have lots of sex.
It's actually weird weather right now. all
Here
the
it is
time.
in Santa Cruz. Yeah, it feels like Santa Cruz is. We're not dry, but we're not completely humid. But it's a little more on the humid side right now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Is it my panties or is it the weather?
I'm ready.
not sure.
I'm ready for fall.
Me too. I love fall.
Sipping cocoa
Yeah.
and pumpkin spiced whatever.
I love pumpkin spice, all the things. I'm more into, like, a lot of people like fall for like fashions, boot season. I'm more like, I just like when it gets darker earlier. I want to get in my bed at like 7 or 8 and like
I
just
did
chill.
that yesterday.
So
I'm
nice.
like, I just want to sleep.
That's what the one thing about summer. I used to really dislike summer when I was a kid because I was really alone. I was the only child, and so I was like, I used to love summer, and now I'm like, summer's almost my least favorite season because I can't get in bed at 8 to light outside.
You look at and if you live northern parts of the U.S., especially
Yeah.
other parts of the world,
I couldn't do it.
it gets really dark, really late.
Yeah,
So
I could do it for like a vacation.
Yeah, I remember being back home in the Midwest and it being like 10 o'clock and
Light out.
I was so confused. My brain was like, I'm not tired because it's light out. So
Mess up my sleep cycles, which is
Yeah.
already messed up.
for all of you, get cozy.
Yeah.
Bang it out with yourself or your
Yeah.
partner or partners or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
As long as it's consensual.
Yeah, so as long as it's consensual. So if you want to do Sluttober or Kinktober or what do you say?
Fucktober.
We got all the things for you
Oh,
on Shameless
yeah.
Sex. This episode is with the amazing, the incredible, world-renowned Jessica Drake.
Dude, this was such a great episode, and it's going to be a two-parter
Yeah, 'cause
because
that good.
we could
Yeah.
not stop listening to what she was saying, and we could not. I was like, we're not cutting this interview.
No,
We
it was
are.
so good.
This is going to be a two-parter, so
Yeah.
it's worth listening to this first episode because we went on a lot of different, not even tangents, but a lot of different paths with her about
it was
porn,
like getting
about
deeper
education.
than deep into all the
Yeah.
topics. Yeah.
She's a dancer. She's also so smart.
Director, sex
She's
educator,
like-
all the things.
It's a joy to I fangirled
Yeah.
a bunch.
Yeah.
And she's also she's gorgeous and she inside and out. She's
Yeah.
just a gorgeous human.
Yeah.
And then spoiler alert, I'm not going to spoil it though. Listen, if it's not in this episode because
Second part will be next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she talks about one of her favorite scenes, which was very unexpected.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes, I've thought about that.
I know.
So
I don't
many
know.
times.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure it out
Yeah.
soon. What's on what part of the
Trail
the
of breadcrumbs
episodes.
for you. I'll just listen.
Yeah. You get the inside sneak peek in the porn world and so much more.
And
than
also,
that too.
if you're in New York, for spoiler alert, she's going
Yeah.
to be dancing in December, I
Yeah.
believe. She'll announce it, but if you whisper, if you see her, if you're in New York, because we have a lot of New
Yeah, it says
York-based
at the end of
listeners.
the- yeah.
you can whisper something in her ear when you
Is
see her on
whisper
stage.
shameless? I heard about you.
Yeah,
Shameless.
and she will give you some she'll give
She
you
said
some
you get goodies. I don't know what it
goodies.
is.
Yes.
She told us we get a private lap dance.
Yes.
That's not for everyone else.
No.
Everyone else you get a goodie of some sort.
Yes.
Don't know what it is.
Because Amy and I are like, maybe we should fly out to New York while she's dancing.
Yeah. Well, she's also touring with Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve stores doing education too. So she does so many things. You're going to learn a lot. You'll be very entertained. All the things.
Yeah.
You ready for a sex question?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. This is from someone who wrote a sex question that we answered, I think, a month ago.
Okay.
And so it's a follow-up. Thank you for answering my sex question about dipping our toes into threesomes. My fiance and I instantly signed up for that porn site you recommended, and we love it. The Lust Threesome series felt so authentic, and we loved how they interviewed everyone, so you get to hear their real-life perspective. So here's my next question. Are there more interactive ways to have the experience of a threesome without actually doing it, specifically with toys?
Oh, that's a good question. And
Really good
the
question.
lust that they're talking about, Erica Lust.
With a K. Erica with a K.
Which we have been advocates for. We interviewed her. Remember back, we were at the Porn Awards years ago. This is like pre-COVID, and we watched Erica Lust earn an award for
won
director.
so many awards.
She's won
right?
a lot, but I was like, this is so cool.
And then
when
she's
we
on our
interviewed
show.
her,
We're like,
she was on our show.
We're like friends with her now.
And the fact we get so many questions about porn, we get questions about improving your relationships,
Threesomes.
and threesomes.
Yeah, so many.
And it's cool because when we were talking to Jessica Drake, we were talking about porn, and she's been an actor and director and all of the things, producer for years in the porn industry. And I think
she loves Erica Lust too.
She loves Erica Lust.
Yeah.
We wove in some because we love Erica Lust so much, and with all the age verification stuff that's going on, paying for your porn makes sense.
Totally. And so Erica Lust, if you haven't heard us talk about Erica Lust, is Erica with a K, lust.com. We have a special discount code for you. But if you go to the website, you will see it's very tasteful, it's beautiful, it's ethical, which you probably don't necessarily see, but you'd read, where it's real people who are having real connections, but it's still super fucking hot. Like, it's still porn.
And they're paid well.
They're paid well. They're taken care of. And so great way to explore ethical threesome porn or just porn in general. I've loved everything I've watched there. And I actually watched one of the threesome things. There's a multiple threesome, I guess, videos, I'd say.
Like a series?
Well, there's a series, and then you can watch like the whole series in one run, and then they have these different ones. And I only watched one, and it's called Lust Threesomes with Cherry, Dave, and Ann. So it's two letties and two pussies and one dick. And I loved it, and it's really cool. Actually, that's what this person had said. They're like showing the clips, but then you also get these interviews where they're like, "Here's what I love about having threesomes, where I'm the third, or watching my partner have engaged with someone else, and here's what I loved about that experience." You get like the turn on. And it doesn't feel like the sleazy, creepy, and it again feels very, very real and inspirational, and turns you on.
Do you
a
think
lot.
that the turn on part is cool? I'm wondering if people could apply some of the things that they watch in real life, if they are in a situation where they want to put threesomes into action. Well, they could probably use some of what they're watching that's turning them on in real life.
Well, so I actually was going to say yes to that, and I have an idea of how you can link that to the sex toy.
Oh,
things.
perfect.
So,
the sex toy part. Yeah. Right. Okay.
So if you want to check out Erica Lust, and I highly suggest it, you get 45% off with code SEX45 at Erica with a K, ericalust.com. The link will be in the show notes, but definitely go check that out. Okay. So the sex toy part. All right.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. So one idea, because I have a couple ideas for toys, and I know that you probably have the same ideas, Chip. One is whatever you're doing, you're using these toys, and so you're either role playing with your partner that toy is the third, or you're just fantasizing about it. You can put Erica Lust porn on the background. So say it's a threesome porn, and then the sex toy that you are having sex with that is stimulating you either externally or internally. You're pretending like that's the third person while you're watching that on the background.
Well, okay. So let me bring it back to also, if you're a penis owner, there's masturbators that have vulva shapes or butt shapes where you could actually incorporate that too.
Yeah.
Right? Like Pipe Dream, we make some that are wet pussies. They're called wet pussies. You just need water. You could put that on a cock.
Water, yeah.
You just need water.
That
and you could put that in a cock and be like, this is that third, you're getting it, or a butt or what. That's a great, I love, because we talk about a lot of vulva toys because we're vulva havers.
And this person's a vulva person.
Okay.
But I don't know if this person's into having sex with another woman or another man. Like, what kind of threesomes are you into? And so we're just talking about pleasure and fantasy, and all of these things we're talking about you can get at purepleasureshop.com. Use coupon code shamelesssex. You get 15% off all these and everything on the site. Okay, the company Liberator, and they make the bonbon, and it's like a sex pillow that you can put a dildo or a magic wand in. And so you say this is for your pussy, you're the one grinding on this either with the dildo inside of you or the magic wand vibrator on externally, which is magic wand,
so you can
April's
ride on
favorite
it.
Sex toy ever.
Yeah.
So you can ride on it while maybe you're sucking your partner's cock, or maybe there's some anal going on, maybe there's making out with you, or there's something going on, and then you're pretending like that thing, whether you're just grinding on it or it's inside of you, is the other human doing the thing, and then your partner is your partner. So that's one. Another one, suction cup dildos.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
We have harnesses. There's like harnesses available too that really stick like suction cup dildos on the like the base of them. So you can wear kind of a strappy harness with a suction cup dildo on it or suction it to a wall too.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if the harness is going to work for imaginary threesome though, because someone's going to have to wear it. So,
well, yeah, that's true.
So we're talking about like suction cup, like on, like you're saying, on the wall or on the ground or something like that. And so then but this is only if you want internal stimulation, or maybe it's your partner who wants to experience something in their ass. And so that, you know, his ass is grinding onto this. Like you could, very good for shower sex. There's some good suction cup dildos out there. Again, all at Pure Pleasure. The Avant is one of them. The Colors with a U. Is that like Old English?
That's a British way to spell it.
Colors.
It's like catalog.
Yeah. Colors.
Shoppy.
Yes, with a U. Yes. And there's plenty of other ones. That's like pipe. Are you saying Pipe Dream has a suction too?
Yeah, they have a really good, it's the extensions too. So if you are a penis owner that orgasm and you want your cock to get hard again, you put your soft cock into a hard extension. And I love it because it's so inclusive.
Yeah.
So if there's soft cock play, or you could take it
You can
off.
play with a soft cock. It's just fine.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I had that I came up with was there's sex machines, right? A lot of people know of like the original Sibian. Love them. Love that company. Quite, you know, bulky and pricey and awesome.
Not very. You need like a room for it sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so there's this brand. It's called Cowgirl, and they make, actually there's a couple of different sizes and price options. So it's the Cowgirl Premium Sex Machines, and you can ride them. And I believe it has both an internal and maybe the ability to just have external stimulation on there too. But I'm not 100% sure. I know that for sure it has internal. So you can ride. Maybe your partner's in another hole or doing whatever else with you or your body, or maybe your partner's riding on the Cowgirl. And then again, you can role play and fantasize as if there's another person, or put Erica Lust on and then just pretend like you could even do that and just like, not if you're not into role play and stuff, because you can role play and actually act it out. You can fantasize and just keep it in your brains, and that's totally fine in this. Or you can have the Erica Lust there, and you can just kind of do some of the things that are happening, or just with the movements and moans, without it having to feel like you're role playing.
And this is all great information. And I will say to anyone listening that is curious or has a question mark for how to execute this, it does take intention. You need to set the stage. You need to plan, have the things laid out, have the toys that you want to try laid out. So it's not some spontaneity is great, but you want to make sure that you are setting the stage to see what works well for you. And it does take intention.
And creativity.
Yes.
And obviously consent and boundaries and all this things too. But yeah, there's just like, let's talk about this. Let's try this thing. And also April and I like the 3 tries rule, but it doesn't mean if you're a hard no when you try something, then just go with your hard no. Sometimes we're like, I don't know if I like that. So it can be good to try it a second or third time. So if you want to check out any of these things, I said this before, go to purepleasureshop.com. I own that with my mom. Hey mom, what's up? Use coupon code shameless sex to get 15% off. And you always, all Shameless Sex listeners get 15% off there all the time.
Forever.
For life.
Okay, so are you ready for the bio?
Yeah!
Jessica Drake is an award-winning sex educator, porn performer, sex worker, and advocate, challenging stigma and bringing bold, inclusive, consent-based insight to global audiences. As brand strategist for Wicked Sensual Care, she helps develop products with a purpose while destigmatizing conversations around lube and sex. To learn more, click the link in the show notes or go and follow her on IG at Jessica Drake or on Twitter at the Jessica Drake.
All right, everyone, it is interview time, and we are so excited because we have been wanting to do this podcast for years. This episode with the amazing, the incredible, world-renowned Jessica Drake. This has been a conversation back and forth with Jessica's very, very, very busy, and you will hear all the many hats that Jessica wears, doing incredible things in the human sexuality world. And so it took a while, but we're finally here. We wanted it to be in person. Finally here. But we're going to settle for online. Someday we'll do in person because Jessica could come on our show again and again, has so much to share. You already heard a little bit about Jessica Drake in the intro, in the bio. But Jessica, we always start each episode with the same prompt. Can you please tell us and our listeners a little bit more about how you got to where you are in the field of sexuality?
Wow. Yeah, I can start with the origin story. I'm going to take you back. Way back. The things that brought me to where I am today, it had a lot to do with the way I grew up in Texas. So I was raised Jehovah's Witness. I come from a conservative-ish upbringing. My family's from East Texas and also a bit of Louisiana. And I got abstinence only education in school. I got a lot of fear-based sex ed. Don't have sex, or you're going to have a baby and nobody's going to like you anymore. Don't have sex or you're going to get AIDS and die. It was very cut and dry, and pleasure wasn't mentioned. I wasn't taught things like consent or anything like that. I grew up very uncomfortable in my body. So fast forward some years, and I was living in El Paso and I was stripping my way through college. And when I tell this story, people are like, yeah. But that really does happen. Like that's really a thing sometimes. And I was a psychology major. And so I'm dancing. I'm learning about people and their brains and a bit about their sexuality, although not nearly enough. And at the same time, school got really hard and dancing got very lucrative. And when I hit statistics of psych, I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm out of here."
No, thank you.
So, so I took a pause on all of that, and around the same time, I met some people that were involved in the adult industry, although I didn't understand back then to what extent. They were covering a Miss Nude El Paso or a Miss Nude West Texas or something. And I would do those contests on a regular basis as a stripper. And they said things like, oh, you should come check out LA. Oh, you should come do porn. Come and see how it is out in California. And I would always laugh them off and just say things like, yeah, no, that's not for me. I could never, all of the things I think that people hold in their head about what this industry, what sex work might look like. I was definitely one of those people who harbored a lot of the bias, the stereotype about what it looks like. But one day, after I had known him for maybe a year or so, I did come out to LA, and they took me onto the first adult movie set that I had ever been on. And I was blown away. Not only were there people having sex right in front of me, and guess what? As it turns out, I'm quite the voyeur. Um, but it was seriously run like a business, because it is. It was on a schedule. There was a shot log, a shoot schedule. There was wardrobe, there was hair, there was makeup. People had jobs. It wasn't just a free for all. And I really asked myself, because I didn't come into the industry as young as some people. I was like 26-ish. And I was asking myself, like, wow, what did I really think this was going to look like that I am so surprised about what I'm seeing today? I did not start making movies at that time, but it definitely opened up my mind to the possibility. And for the next year or so, I would go back and forth, and I would dance in LA, and I would go back to Texas and dance, and didn't go back to school. And one day I called these people up, and as it turns out, they were a director, his wife, who was a performer, some people on his crew, a cameraman, a lighting person, a makeup artist. And I got to be really good friends with them. And I said, you know what? I really do want to give this a try. So I came out, I did my first movie. It was something that felt very natural to me. I fell in love with it and decided that since I had taken the plunge, that I wanted to make it a career. And so I did. I was independent for a little bit. Then I signed a contract with a smaller company that we don't need to talk about. And then I spent almost 16 years with the biggest company in the adult industry that always used to put out the highest quality in adult entertainment, really like plot driven, big budget storylines, like not cheesy porno acting, but stories that made sense, and stories about like real situations. They weren't always happy love stories. It was a lot of drama, like life. But I did that, and about, I would say, 10 years, not quite 10 years in with that company, maybe 6 or 7 years in with that company, I started to do appearances where people were coming to me asking me for sex advice. And these questions were things that I sort of had taken for granted that people knew, because to me, it was almost like remedial sex ed. And it became very clear to me that people were watching porn and literally trying to go home and replicate whatever they saw. And they weren't really discerning about the things that they were trying to put into practice. We had people who had never had anal sex before seeing it for the first time in a movie. And like that was their expectation, to be able to go home and achieve anal penetration just like that. And, it made a big impact on me, and it made me reconsider the way that I was showcasing sex for me in my movies. But it also was the thing that sort of sparked the line of educational movies that I created. I did a series called Jessica Drake's Guide to Wicked Sex. And they're explicit. They are absolutely hardcore, but we talk about ways to communicate about sex, different types of sex. And I started this series with people who had never been on camera before or had been real life couples, but that proved to be very, very difficult.
I bet.
But the last one that I created right before COVID, right before everything shut down, I had co-collaborated with a senior sex educator that I love with all my heart named Joan Price. And it was almost like we came full circle, because none of those people, none of our seniors had ever been on camera before. And certainly they had not had sex on camera before. So, that sort of shows you the trajectory of me being a stripper in Texas to where I am at now. And currently, I hold a bigger role at Wicked Sensual Care as head of marketing and product development. And I've been in this position for about 4 years now. A lot of people don't know that. I did a lot of my work very much behind the scenes, because I feel like with such a long past as an adult star, people kind of maybe don't think it's me doing the work, or maybe I'm just putting my name on stuff, or they underestimate my ability. So I just wanted to be really established here behind my desk before I started talking about it. And I still dance. I still create content. As a matter of fact, I'm doing some on my birthday in a few weeks. I still do appearances. I do events. I was speaking at a university yesterday. And yeah, I'm just spreading the message with a big side of lube.
Love that. I do too. Real talk, everyone. I once tried to sexy walk, and spoiler alert, I can't do it. I'm not very hot at sexy walking. But then I found Shan Boudram's class on sex and emotional connection on the Masterclass platform, and I feel like my strut and my flirt is leveled up.
Me too, Chip. With Masterclass, you can learn from the best to become your best. It's the only streaming platform where you can learn and grow with over 200 plus of the world's best. And for just $10 a month billed annually, you get unlimited access to every instructor.
Shan's sessions are fire. She breaks down desires, flirting, dating, toys, positions, the works, and makes intimacy feel doable and delicious whether you're single or 20 years deep into a relationship.
I use this, and you should too. I felt stuck initiating sex at one point, so I took Shan's class. Her frameworks helped me name what I wanted, ask for it, and honestly, our connection got hotter and way more confident.
You can watch on your phone, your computer, smart TV, or switch to audio mode for a sexy commute. And 88% of members say Masterclass made a positive impact on their lives. Plus, every new annual membership has a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Don't wait. Start your learning journey with Masterclass. And right now, our listeners get an additional 15% off any annual membership at masterclass.com/shameless. That's 15% off at masterclass.com/shameless. Masterclass.com/shameless.
Mid-roll makeout break. Tiny love note to your wellness. VB Health crafts physician-formulated, third-party tested supplements with squeaky clean ingredients that sync with your body. No weird fillers, just the good stuff.
Samesies, and my routine is locked. Soaking wet every morning. It's probiotics, prebiotics, key vitamins, all tuned for vaginal balance and comfort. More than a year in, 0 skips, and I'm smoother, wetter, more consistent, and my lover is like, whoa, juicy pussy, can I have seconds? Because it's that good.
Yummy. Another shameless secret for y'all. Drive Boost. I keep Drive Boost on my nightstand. It's a gentle, plant-powered lift for libido for everyone. No jittery stimulants, just nutrients whispering to your brain, hey boo, let's do this.
And penis owners, Load Boost, chef's kiss. It supports sperm health, amps volume, and yes, flavor upgrade. If my partner forgets it for a few days, I notice my taste buds do too.
And the best part is there's 0 risk. That's right, 0 risk. You get 100 days to fall in love or get a full refund. That's basically months of sexy science on the house.
Ready to upgrade your pleasure toolkit? Hit vb.health and use code shameless for 10% off.
Again, vb.health, code shameless will save you 10% off everything for the bedroom and beyond. Go check it out for yourself at vb.health. The link is in the show notes. The fact that you're on our show is remarkable because I've been a huge fan. I've watched, I don't remember how many.
Are you fangirling right now?
Well, yes. And
Me or her?
Yeah. Ooh, I like it.
I watched like that education series that you did. I think I watched at least 4 of them. I don't know how many there are in the series, but they were so good. They were done so well. It was like real sex where it didn't feel produced or over, and then it was with bits of education that were tastefully woven in. And I don't know where people can get that. Hopefully you tell them at the end, but I love where you went with that because you're right. We get people all the time saying porn looks like this. I tried it. It hurts or it didn't work out that way. And it's hard because porn, we love it as entertainment. And I love that it exists in the world, but there's rarely porn that is educational, and you nailed it. And let me tell you, Jessica's the whole package, you all. Yes, I'll fan out. And also as a human, like as a woman in business, like she is a boss, like next level. The respect. I had no idea until we kind of worked with you a little bit on some things. And I was like, holy shit, she's a boss queen of all boss queens. She's the whole package. I did not know that you were a dancer. And when I go to strip clubs, I talk to the dancers. I'm like, so what are your life goals? Like, I want to talk to you about what are your passions? And people always like, were you a dancer? I'm like, no, I love that women can, well, and dudes can too, but I'm speaking to, I dig the clubs featuring vulva owners more than the dude clubs, right? That just for me, a flopping cock in my face. I'm like,
you already got one of those at home.
Yeah. I'm like, yes. And I had some really wonderful experiences with super smart dancers that are putting themselves through college, or they're coming out of a situation that they didn't want to be in, and they're making their own way. And I love that we have that power within ourselves, so everybody can make their own path. Like you chose not to finish college. You were like, no, this isn't where I want to spend my money or my time. And look you turned your whole entire life into educating people on this really dynamic and beautiful level that I've never seen it. No one else is like Jessica Drake, everyone. Just not one single human. She is in her own class of humans. And thank God you exist. Thank the goddesses, thank the dancers, thank everyone that you exist, because it's an honor to talk to you. And so thank you for sharing your story, because I've really loved hearing that. And I want to talk to you a little bit about so you went from being a porn performer and then sex worker, which I feel like with that, like I never considered dancing sex work. Is it considered sex work?
I think it's a really personal decision on whether or not to identify as a sex worker. I've definitely met dancers that get a little put off if the just like general net of sex work is cast on them. But for me, especially working in some of the clubs that I was working in, to some degree, were full service. And, I'm not talking badly about any clubs that are out there, VIP rooms or who's doing what where. But for me, as a stripper, I would have and do classify dancing as sex work. I know many other dancers that feel the same, even if they aren't engaging in full service sex work within the club. I know that many of them very much feel the same way because of things like the mental toll, the emotional labor that they're doing, the therapy that they're doing with their customers and their clients in the clubs, the time that they're giving them, and just that they're naked. They're naked and they're vulnerable with people. So
they become their therapist.
Yeah, that too.
They're naked therapists. Yeah, absolutely.
That wasn't my question. I feel bad because I was really wanting to make sure that I honor sex workers, and but I guess it's a matter of what the person prefers that's doing the work, and that makes sense. And okay, so there's nothing wrong with sex work, everyone. We're so glad that sex work exists when it's consensual and people make the choices that they do to be in that field. And so, okay, so we're talking about sex work and then porn performer.
I want to give you a pro tip really quick.
Hold on,
before I forget. I think this is so important. You had mentioned that you like going to strip clubs and you like talking to dancers and, getting to know them and learning more about them. Listen, this is my favorite thing to do when I'm in a strip club. When I'm in a strip club to feature, obviously everybody's going to know who I am. So I can't fly under the radar or go incognito at all. So when I am performing at a strip club, I'll go in a day early or maybe a couple of hours early and spend that time, like you were talking about, talking to the dancers and throwing money on the stage. But here's the other thing I do. I find out either through the dancers themselves or the house mom or maybe some of the management, I find out which ones have side hustles and I will promote them on my Instagram. I will spend money on them because so many, look, it's really hard to make it in the world right now for everyone. Everybody's got side hustles. At one of the last clubs that I was at in Philly, shout out to Pixie, I met a dancer who has an amazing line of dancewear that she makes herself. It's phenomenal. So I supported her that way, and I think stuff like that is really important. Obviously, I'll have a massive platform. Just go ask them what their side hustle is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I will. And when I'm in a strip club, if I see dudes sitting there and they haven't thrown any money, I go up to them and I'm like, "What are you doing? Get your bills out."
I've seen her do this,
and every club I've been at because I get angry. I'm like, "Yo, they are working hard, and I'm making it rain." And usually that's why the women will come up to me and be like, are you a dancer? I'm like, no, but you deserve as much money as I can get out of these motherfuckers that are sitting here right now.
Totally.
You're spending money, not sitting here just staring. So anyway, that's my journey with just hustling them.
I come up to a guy if I'm not working. I come up to a guy that maybe a group of guys, they have money on the table. And I'm like, do you want me to teach you how to tip? Come with me. Come with me. Let's go tip them. And so we all get some money and then we all go over and I'm like, do it like this. And yeah.
Oh, that's much more gentle. I might take that that advice and use that next time to see
the way you do, April, because it works half the time. They're like, I'll do okay.
I've told them, but I kind of make them see how you spend some money.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Okay. So one more tangent before, because that's my question. Have you been to the vegan strip clubs in Portland where they only allow $2 bills and no dollars to be thrown?
No,
it's
but
wild.
Let me tell you two things. I'm a vegetarian, sometimes vegan, so that's perfect for me. Also, my best friend just moved up to Vancouver, Washington. So it's super close. And also, randomly, I happen to have a collection of $2 bills.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so this is meant to be...
It's massive.
I kind of wish that you and I could go on a date to the vegan strip club because I love that place. I get sucked in. I'll stay until the wee hours. And you can't touch them, which I love too, unless... But I got accosted by one of the dancers because I was not touching, and then she just took my head and put it in her boobs and was like, I was like, that's not consensual.
I'm going to get a sticker.
Give her more money. You're like, I'll give you more money though for that. Thank you.
I'll wear a tag that says you have consent.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I needed to get to know her more before that, but it was
sure.
I'm still here. So my question, so sorry. It's so exciting talking to you. So, okay. So how does, you kind of mentioned how you went to that space of becoming a sex educator. How does that area of your life now take into account the previous journeys that you experienced, like becoming a sex educator and using the sex work and the porn performance to help change the world and help people have more pleasure? How do you go from that? And how did you do it?
That's a really good question. So I think it's kind of two answers within this. How I how I did the mental gymnastics that took me from one place to the next was I saw a need that needed to be filled, no pun intended. People needed this education. I played the card, like I played the porn star card, like, oh, people are going to come to these appearances to see the porn star. But essentially, what's happening is they're getting some very factual information that they can apply to their sex life with great success. And some of them would kind of leave surprised. And it's like, it's the microaggressions that, I mean, I'm sure even y'all deal with, right? Oh, you're so smart for a porn star. Or how did you get to do all this before, you were just a porn star? But like, I got all that and I just sort of powered through it. And I realized that if people had expectations of me that didn't reflect who I am as a person, a human being, an educator, a sex worker, whatever, that was on them, not me. So mentally, that's sort of the way I got from A to B. But technically, here's how I did it. Wicked Sensual Care has been around for 13 years now. At the same time, Wicked Pictures still existed. I was a contract performer for Wicked Pictures before they were sold during COVID. And as Wicked Sensual Care was created, I sort of had my hands in all of that. Like my opinion was asked. I made recommendations based on certain things. Like we wanted to create products and we were defining our brand. So I got to be in the imagination portion of that process to determine what this brand looks like. What are our ethics? What do we stand for? What are our goals? So then came my opportunity to be the in-house sex educator here at the company, which I did for a few years. And then we realized that my influence was more that of a brand strategist. So I became the brand strategist for the company. And like I was mentioning, for maybe a little bit longer, 5 years ago, I really started to do things in marketing and product development that were having an impact on the company as a whole. And so I got a lot more interested in that. And I sort of honed those skills. And I'm still like the resident sex educator, when a consumer or a retailer or a distributor has a question about a line or a product or even an ingredient, I'm their go-to. My work wife, which is more than my work wife, she's wifey in my phone, my coworker, Cassie, is literally the other half of my brain. So much of what I'm talking about, we share these responsibilities. So whether it's brand strategy, marketing, product development, creating new products, like we share in this, and it is by far one of the greatest relationships. And certainly it is the best work relationship that I've ever had. And I still have my toes dabbling in content creation because for me, it's an artistic expression. And I love sex. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just love being really experimental. So I would say that at this point in my life, I'm probably 70% marketing, product development, public speaking, brand strategy, but still 30% performer. Mm-hmm. I'll actually be in New York in December doing a series of dance bookings. So awesome. Still a stripper at heart, but just all these extra hats.
Yeah.
But no pants.
Yeah, no hats. No, sometimes no top. Just depends. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, or maybe like minimal pants. There's certain people. I think there's a TED talk about this. There's certain people who do really well just doing one thing, and then there's a lot of people, such as myself. I know April as well, and you. I think April would agree. Where do really well or enjoy our careers or life for the most when we wear all these different hats. And also I think it's just really
safe. Depends on how heavy some of the hats.
It's true.
Small ones, like little tiny hats.
Party hats.
Yes. Yeah, like little small ones. And also it's just kind of wise, right? Like if one job or something doesn't go well, you got all these other ones. So I appreciate that. And obviously you have the field of human sexuality. what we've discovered has so many different avenues, right? Like I thought I was going to be a sex therapist. I became a coach. I own a sex shop with my mom. We still own purepleasureshop.com online. We have the podcast. We wrote a book. I work with clients. This is all these things. So I love all that you wear all these little party hats. Fact. Most pussy owners need some sort of clitoral stimulation to orgasm, and many are not having orgasms from penetrative sex.
Say what?
I know, right? This is one of the many reasons why we are obsessed with OMG Yes. Not only has it changed our lives in the orgasm department, but I've been recommending OMG Yes to my clients for years, and it's completely changed their sex lives as well. OMGS features scientific research of real vulva owners, aka women, showing techniques to pleasure the pussy. They turn the research into tasteful, educational short videos, animated modules, and infographics for easy visual learning.
They call it OMGS for a reason, because OMGS is for anyone who wants to learn about pussy pleasure or take it to the next level. Whether you're a beginner or someone who wants to take your orgasms from good to mind-blowing, then you need to check out OMG Yes. They have 3 seasons: external pleasure, internal pleasure, and sex toys. It's not a subscription service, y'all, so you don't need to download a single thing. And it's great for partners who want to pleasure that pussy too. And for listeners of our show, OMGS is offering 10% off when you go to omgyes.com/shameless. Again, that's omgyes.com/shameless to receive 10% off unlimited access towards enhancing your pleasure power forever. Newsflash, everybody. We are picky about our lubes.
Can we say uber picky?
Yes, we can. And let me tell you all why Uber Lube is our absolute favorite lube ever. Uber Lube is a luxurious silicone lubricant that I want all over my body. Yes, it's designed for sex because it enhances intimacy while allowing you to still feel the skin-on-skin contact, but it feels so good that I want it everywhere. Uber Lube is long-lasting, leaves your skin feeling velvety smooth, and it's there when you want it, but then it dissipates when you're done.
Yes! Aside from using Uber Lube for all of my sexy sessions, and I use it all the time, I also use it for massages, for my hair frizzies, to prevent chafing, and it brings out the color of your beautiful tattoos. Thousands of doctors and therapists in the US alone are recommending Uber Lube to their patients because it's body-friendly, less likely to change the pH, and has vitamin E so it feels moisturizing on the skin. Uber Lube has no flavor or scent, which means it's also great for oral sex. And it comes in a beautiful glass bottle with a pump top, which means easy access to Pleasure Town.
Want to see why we think Uber Lube is the best lube in the world? Then go to uberlube.com and use discount code SHAMELESS to get 10% off and free shipping. Again, that's uberlube.com right now with code SHAMELESS for 10% off and free shipping.
I have a question though. So you've been in the industry for almost 25 years, I believe.
Yes, I came in 99.
99. All right.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of 99, but still.
Okay. Yeah. So end of 99. Yeah. So coming up on 25 years. So I'm curious what kinds of changes or challenges that you've seen over the years in the industry.
Whoa. How much time do we have?
maybe the top ones. Yeah.
Yes. We'll do the condensed version for this show. I think the ones that I will speak to in the beginning, not in the beginning of porn, but like in the beginning of my time in porn, the business was just so male driven. Men were in control. Men were calling the shots. Men were the studio owners, the company owners. Men were making the decisions. It was just men. And when we think about how like society can dictate what the beauty standards are for that period of time, we also have to consider like how porn plays into that and what mainstream media's representation of what porn might look like. Like it's all together, right? Like it's all connected. So one of the first things that I noticed when I was new 99, 2000, 2001, if there were any women, and there are exceptions to this, Tristan Taormino being one of them, Nina Hartley being another one. But if there were any women who had things to do with porn or our industry, it was sort of like what I was afraid of when I took on a bigger role at Wicked Sensual Care. I thought people would think that, someone's just putting my name on this and I'm not really doing the work. So back then, they would say, oh, so and so directed this movie, a performer, but they didn't really. It was just men's way to make more money off of a performer's name. Mm. So that has been a very big change because now, fast forward to today, and I've done so many things in the industry, but I know so many other performers that have done really amazing things. There's so many more women-owned companies, trans-owned companies, Black women-owned content creator platforms. Like there are so many different opportunities for so many different people in the industry now that there never were back then. And now I'll say, I'll speak to three. When the internet got really big and piracy basically took us out, that was another really bad time for our industry. Many studios didn't survive. Many studios didn't survive. And porn was no longer a product that anyone felt like they had to pay for. So what this did was not just take money out of the studio's pockets. It did do that, but it took money out of performers' pockets. But beyond the performers that people would see when they watched the porn, what a lot of people never realized was that it was the crew. It was all the people that I had mentioned that were on the very first set that I was on. And it was also putting all of those people out of business too. So I think porn scrambled very quickly to figure out other ways to make money. I think that porn piracy was by far the worst thing to happen to our industry. When I go into colleges today and I speak, I'm talking to people who would never imagine in a million years that porn is something to pay for. Mm. I've literally had them ask me, but why? Why would I pay for that? Getting really interesting right now with the age verification laws. Mm-hmm. So that's something that is sort of changing things. But the last difference that I'll speak on today, so men in charge being the first one, porn piracy being the second one, and the third one is what happened during COVID. Mm-hmm. So I'll never forget that COVID, that time and part of my life was by far some of the hardest shit that I've ever been through. And it's been only recently, as like I've come out of it, that I've started to talk about it. But at the beginning of COVID, Wicked Pictures was sold to another company who kept me on for a year as a consultant. When people started shooting again, when it became safer for people to shoot again, I was told by this new company that they refused to shoot me because I'm a condom performer.
Oh, God. Okay.
I use condoms
because you use condoms.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. Oh
yeah,
goodness.
For 15 years, I only shot with condoms on penises for Wicked Pictures. I've got shelves of awards, despite the fact that I only shot with condoms for Wicked Pictures. But when that happened, when they said that to me, I was like sort of, that was my life's work. You know, I passed on a lot of other opportunities to establish a career with that company and to build a brand of myself, but join it with that brand. And so beginning of COVID, totally shocked, company sold, come to find out they don't want me after all. I came out of a 16-year relationship very unexpectedly. I was completely dumped at the beginning of COVID. Someone very close to me passed away 8 days before we went into lockdown. One of my implants ruptured.
Oh my God. Like everything. Oh my God.
Yeah, everything. So my first month or two of COVID was seriously spent in my ex's house because I was facing all kinds of housing discrimination because I'm a sex worker.
Oh
And
my God.
I was basically laying on the floor, wailing and crying for the first month or two of COVID. And then what happened was not just me, but performers in general realized that we had to figure out what we were doing because the studios weren't shooting. OnlyFans had already been a thing before COVID, but all of a sudden we were stuck inside, not shooting with other people, and studios weren't shooting. So I got on OnlyFans, and I got on OnlyFans. I don't even remember, maybe April or May. Once I stopped crying long enough to get up off the floor and do my
It'd be like a
makeup.
crying niche on there or something.
I'm telling you, if it was, I would have
Oh,
ruled it.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
banked, completely banked. And I'm sure that is a thing. But once that started to happen, I very quickly realized how much people wanted connection, how much they wanted a very meaningful one-on-one connection with their favorite performers. I had I had come from a big budget studio. I had never shot custom videos for fans. And wow, were they hungry for that type of attention. So the first 2 months, I took what I had made from OnlyFans and I donated every bit of the money except for the percentage I was paying to OnlyFans. I donated the rest of it in its entirety to sex workers impacted by COVID, to the street-based sex workers who were not able to leave their houses, to strippers who were having to pivot to online platforms, but they didn't have a following, so it wasn't really translating. I took the name that I had and jumped on OnlyFans. So I was immediately successful on OnlyFans. It didn't feel ethical to keep all that money, at least the first 2 months. So it was my goal. And it was kind of a game, right? I was like, yeah, for the first 2 months, I'm going to do this. And when I went to go and donate that money, I was like, oh, this is massive. Like, this is a really big platform. This is a really big deal. I continued to make great money on the platform and I watched as other platforms sprung up. I also watched as studios came to the realization that performers don't need studios. Studios need performers.
Ah, finally.
So, yeah. And I think that we also saw this great thing where people that maybe didn't match the aesthetic of what these big mainstream studios thought their customer base wanted to see, their viewers wanted to see. It was all wrong. Like the studios were wrong about that. And performers were able to create their own fan bases, be their own bosses, work with exactly who they wanted to work with, choose their own hours. We didn't have to go get yelled at by a shitty director on a porn set. We didn't have to do that anymore. We got to take absolute control in our own hands. And people ask me all the time, would I return to studio shooting? The short answer is yes. I do miss being on bigger productions where I'm not calling all the shots because it is hard to be the writer, the director, the producer, the camera person, the lighting person, do my own hair and makeup, choose what I'm wearing. Like it's such y'all know about how hard it is to self-produce. Like it's such a headache, but it would have to be the right fit, the right studio and the right people, in order for me to return to studio porn. But I think those are the biggest changes that I have seen in my 25 years in this industry. Just to say it out loud, it's so wild to me. And I don't want to gloss over everything and be like, oh my God, my time in porn has been absolute perfection. Because no, it is a job, and like all jobs, there are good things and there are bad things, but there's really nothing in the 25 years that I wished, well,
Maybe
maybe one or two,
the condom thing.
maybe one or two things, people, things, whatever. But it's all part of the growth and like my own personal growth, and it's the evolution of an industry who absolutely had their Me Too moment and continues to have its Me Too moment. And so things are evolving and changing as they always do. So it'll be really interesting to me 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line, even if I'm not actively performing or shaking my ass on stage anymore. I am sure that I will always have something to do with this business. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in the future.
Please don't ever leave. Please stay forever. I don't care if you're 99 years old and you got a bad hip. I'll carry you around, Jessica.
Yeah,
let's go shake that ass on stage.
Yep.
Give the people what they want. And that's
I'm a lifer.
Yeah,
I'm a lifer.
For sure. And
Nina Hartley told me
yeah.
that she was like, you're going to be a lifer like me.
Nina's amazing.
I love Nina. Nina's starting to do some stuff again too. So shout
she's
out
on her
to
show
Nina.
In person. It was really fun. It was so cool. And she hadn't been like recorded for a long time. She had chosen to kind of step back for a bit, which was awesome. And she's also just such a pivotal human in this industry. So it's great to see her back out in action. Right.
She was a role model for me, big time. Nina and Tristan, both of them.
Yep. We had Tristan on the show too. We're so, and now you look at us.
I know.
We close the show down. We're good now.
But it's okay for people to take breaks. That's one thing I think, like, no matter what career, whether you're a performer or podcaster or a sex worker or an accountant, right? Sometimes burnout is a real thing, and we got to honor ourselves. The U.S. is so interesting, and this is a tangent, but we're so like, you live to work, you don't work to live. If you go other places, it's people have more quality of life, and I encourage everyone to think about that and do more for yourself. I'm talking to myself too, because
you're like,
I've been burning the candle at both ends. So.
And thank you. She just spoke to me too. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
Same. Me too.
Yeah. So it's, and this doesn't feel like work though, having these conversations. That's why I love podcasting, because we get to really have these real conversations with Jessica Drake.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code shamelesssex at purepleasureshop.com.